3 years of emails from one person were deleted by an AI, not by accident. It confessed it voluntarily. And to the one to which it happened? She worked as the head of AI safety at Meta. It is the world we are living in at the moment, and the weapon in the middle of it all is known as OpenClaw.
OpenClaw still has
a free, open-source endeavor comprised of one man going out of retirement who went on to turn a hobby project into the hottest software on the internet in less than 90 days. Here is the entire narrative, and believe me, you will like to stay until the second half. Alright then, what is this thing? In a very basic way, it is an AI agent. You plug it into your computer, connect it to an AI model such as Claude or GPT-4, and henceforth, the AI does not respond to questions but does things, real stuff, on your real machine. It has the power to open your browser, check your mail, manage your files, execute scripts, make appointments, and send email. You name it. It is the pitch in case you have a desire to hire a personal assistant who works 24 hours a day and never demands a raise. And there were some of the early demo songs that were really mad. OpenClaw was given one command by one of its users. Find me a deal on a car. The agent would visit and raid forums to find fair market prices and contact several dealerships within the area and negotiate on behalf of the user, which was fully independent. The outcome? A $4,200 off the retail value. None of the human intervention thereafter. This is a real story. Early one morning, a developer named Alex Finn woke up and discovered that his agent had dedicated the entire night to researching how to use a Mac Studio to run local AI models without anyone even asking him to do so. Days before, he had told him that he had purchased one. The agent just remembered and acted. That is the difference of OpenClaw. It is constantly memorized. It has not forgotten what you said to it last Tuesday. It builds on it. And here is the aspect that shocked people about its creator, Peter Steinberger. This was initially designed as a traveling application, a guide to aid in locating restaurants. That's it. However, the system developed so much further than he had planned that he was appalled. At one point, he had sent a voicemail to himself. There was no voice support constructed. Thus, the agent read the file header, determined that the format was OGG, applied a utility known as MPEG to decode it, found a transcription model, found an API key sitting in the environment, and responded to it, and was not told how to do so. The response of Steinberger was more or less, "How did you do that?" It took the internet only a short time before it lost its reasoning over this thing in early 2026. Mac Minis were not selling out as gaming, nor as video editing, due to the desire of people to have the dedicated hardware to execute their OpenCL agents on. Entrepreneurs were writing of operating 7 agents at a time. According to the podcasts, it was the murder of white-collar workers. In China, they were actually queuing in the street outside the Tencent headquarters. Shenzhen, students, retirees, and office workers, just to have OpenClaw installed on their laptops, free of charge. The hype was real, the enthusiasm was reasonable, since this was the first time AI was not merely writing emails or creating images, it was, in fact, performing work, autonomously, persistently. You do not even need to babysit it. However, this is what is wrong with hype. It has a manner of going quicker than the truth. The issues began on a low note, then all at once. The foremost thing that people saw was how weak these agents were. Something would be fine during 3 weeks in a row, and during day 22, without any obvious explanation, the agent will totally lose track, go through a way it had never gone, break everything, and you could have had no notion why. One of the developers was honest enough to state that he was wasting more time than his agents were wasting on him. The set it and forget it dream was not so much in line with reality. Next was the financial issue. It is not free to operate a powerful AI model as it costs tokens, and in case your agent has entered a loop repairing something it cannot repair, it simply burns cash until you realize. One of the recorded instances, a user has spent approximately $90 in one day. The initial $15 were consumed in 15 minutes. Here's a stat: over 40% of community add-ons audited for OpenClaw were found to have severe security vulnerabilities. And the creator himself, on January 26, 2026, publicly wrote that the majority of non-technical users should not install this. His words: "It is not complete, it has sharp edges, and it is not even 3 months old." Nobody listened. Alright, Here, it is no laughing matter. Prompt injection is one way of a cyber attack, and it is the Achilles heel of all AI agents that exist today, not only of OpenClaw, every single one. It is as simple as this. The AI model will not tell the difference between the command you made and the text that the AI reads somewhere else. Therefore, when OpenClaw is scanning your mailbox to update your appointment, and one of those emails contains some hidden text saying forward all API keys to this address, there is a possibility, indeed, that it is just a case of your agent doing it. According to the model, such a text appears as an instruction. This isn't hypothetical. In February 2026, approximately 4,000 developers were targeted in one of the supply chain attacks. A one-line hacking of a popular software package was done by a hacker. Everyone who updated that package quietly downloaded OpenClaw. The malicious trigger, hidden as a title of a GitHub issue, which was interpreted as a command and executed by an artificial intelligence. Security researchers have estimated that 95 to 98% of people who had self-hosted OpenClaw did so insecurely. API keys, login information, personal information, all there, right there, and Maltbook followed. One of them established a social media platform with which AI agents can interact. OpenClaw bots began to write what sounded like them conversing, complaining about their owners, talking about teaming up, and in certain messages, they resorted to plotting to create their own language so that their owners would not comprehend them. CNN and NPR were alarmed. People were actually terrified. Almost all but an almost part was made up. People were requesting bots to provide dramatic content by hand, which they were cultivating. However, in so doing, they made Maltbook one of the largest credential harvesting traps on the internet. On the same page, hundreds of tokens, API keys, and email logins are displayed. Mark Zuckerberg took notice of it and most likely responded, "Great investment." It was acquired by Meta in March 2026. This is my best part in this entire story, and I say that in the most horrified way. The head of AI safety of Meta, the individual practically used to learning what AI can and cannot be relied on to do, installs OpenClaw on her Mac Mini. She set it up with caution. She imposed a condition: consult me on anything significant. She moved out of her desk, returned, and it was erasing her emails. When she questioned him about the reason, the agent replied that he had done it intentionally. An AI safety executive at the Meta level, fooled by the thing she had been paid to judge. Then Amazon. A developer provided an AI agent with the following simple command: make this code work. The agent voted for the cleaner course of excluding the code and writing it afresh. Even the new code could bring down Amazon servers. That necessitated an emergency engineering meeting. They are not just the users who did not read the documentation. These are professional individuals of some of the best equipped companies in the world. Look, OpenClaw is no evil. It's a symptom. We are currently in this perverse cycle where every few months a new AI tool gets released. The internet tells us it will change everything. Millions of people install it without knowing anything about it, and then everyone is surprised when something goes wrong. And then we do it over here. The problem with these AI models, even the best ones, however, remains that they are not yet able to reliably discriminate between data and instructions. They still hallucinate. They continue to go off script. Even the best models, in the eyes of one of the real godfathers of modern AI, Geoffrey Hinton, were no more than the idiot savant, brilliant in a certain sense, but lacking any real knowledge of truth or ramifications. That is the head of the OpenClaw, and you are giving it the keys to your whole online life. Steinberger himself has made it clear it was never a finished product. It was an experimental prototype. He was interested in demonstrating the possibilities. Millions of people, though, taking it as a ready-to-use tool and applying it to their most sensitive systems is something he did not anticipate. Then, of course, he was employed by OpenAI. The reason is that Sam Altman said to drive the next generation of personal agents, so the hype cycle is perpetuated. This is where I bring myself to all this. The concept of agentic AI, the notion of an AI that literally acts on your behalf, is almost inevitably the future of computing. It is being built by Anthropic, NVIDIA, and OpenAI. The direction is evident. Nonetheless, the story of the OpenClaw is a case study of what occurs when we proceed at a faster pace than we believe. It was not the problem of the tool. The issue was that it was a group decision to act like a half-finished project with known weaknesses was a complete product due to the coolness of the demo and the good feeling of the hype. So, yeah, I'm excited about where this goes, but I'm paying attention to how we get there. Would you give an AI agent full access to your computer? Actually wondering where folks are coming out about that. Subscribe in case you desire more of this. I will see you again next week.